Hey everyone, and welcome to the PTCB Prep Guide. We're all about making those tricky pharmacy concepts super simple and easy to remember. Today, we're going to tackle the integumentary system. Now, I know that sounds complicated, but trust me, it's so important. Think about it. So many meds, from acne creams to antifungal lotions, work right on the skin. So we're going to break down all the high-yield terms you've got to know for the exam, and most importantly, see how it all connects to what you'll be doing in the pharmacy every day.
All right, here's the game plan for today. We'll start with a quick look at what the system is, our body's first defense. Then we'll dive into the layers of the skin, get to know the oil and sweat glands, and wrap it all up with the pharmacy connection. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, your body's first defense. Let's start right at the beginning and figure out what this system is all about. So the integumentary system is, way more than just skin deep. It's this whole setup of skin, hair, nails, and glands, and it does a ton of work for us. It's our first line of defense against germs, it's like our body's own thermostat, and it even helps out our immune system. Now for the PTCB, we're really going to zero in on the skin and the glands. Why? Because that's where the magic happens for a whole bunch of topical meds.
All right, let's move on to the layers of the skin. We're going to peel things back a bit and look at what's going on from the surface all the way down to the depths. You really need to get this part because it explains how all those creams and ointments actually get absorbed and do their job.
And get this, your skin weighs about 9 pounds. Isn't that wild? That makes it the largest organ in your entire body. So it's not just some kind of wrapping paper, right? It's a heavy-duty organ that's doing critical work like protecting you, letting you feel things, and even making vitamin D.
Okay, this little chart breaks it down perfectly. You've got three main layers. Up top, there's the epidermis, that's your outer shield. In the middle, you have the dermis, which is kind of like the busy support hub. And at the bottom is the hypodermis, which is all about insulation. Simple, right? Now let's zoom in on that top layer.
So if we look even closer at the epidermis, you'll see it's not just one flat layer. Nope, it's actually made up of 5 different sublayers stacked on top of each other. We're talking from the stratum corneum on the very outside all the way down to the stratum basal at the base. Each one has its own special job in the life cycle of a skin cell.
Okay, listen up, because this is a classic PTCB question waiting to happen. See that second layer, the stratum lucidum? It's special. It's an extra layer of protection that you only find in the thick skin on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. Makes sense, right? We need a little extra cushion there.
All right, quick review time. Which layer of the epidermis do we only find on the palms and soles? I'll give you a second. Got it? If you said stratum lucidum, you are 100% correct. Definitely circle that one in your notes. Okay, so moving down from the epidermis, we hit the dermis. This is the support layer, and you can think of it as Grand Central Station for your skin. I mean, everything is happening here. You've got blood vessels, nerves, hair follicles, and, you guessed it, the glands we're about to talk about.
Pop quiz. Where do you find the sweat glands and hair follicles? Which layer? Yep, you got it. They're hanging out right there in the dermis.
All right, on to the glands. First up, the sebaceous glands. These are the body's natural oil producers, and as a pharm tech, you're going to see meds that target these guys constantly, especially for things like acne, so this is super relevant stuff.
So what do these glands make? They make something called sebum. Sebum is basically an oily stuff that keeps our skin and hair moisturized and acts as a barrier against bacteria. It's good stuff. The problem is when these glands get a little too enthusiastic and produce too much sebum, and that's often what leads to acne.
Okay, one more time, because this is a huge term for the exam. What substance is secreted by sebaceous glands? It's sebum. Good. Let's lock that one into our memory banks. Okay, let's switch gears to the other glands in the neighborhood, the sweat glands. These are basically the body's built-in cooling system. Pretty straightforward, right?
Now, here's a key distinction you've got to know. There are actually 2 types of sweat glands. First, you have eccrine glands. These are everywhere, all over your body, and they're the main ones that cool you down. Then you have apocrine glands. These are only in certain spots, like your armpits and groin. They kick into gear around puberty, and, well, they're the ones that can lead to body odor.
So let's see if you were paying attention. Which sweat glands are the ones responsible for body odor? That's right, the apocrine glands. Awesome.
And now we get to the most important part, the pharmacy connection. This is where we answer the question, why on earth do I need to know this for the PTCB exam? Let's put all these pieces together.
Honestly, knowing this stuff is so important for your job. When you see a prescription for a topical corticosteroid, like hydrocortisone, you'll understand how it gets absorbed through those skin layers. When you're handling an acne treatment, you'll know it's going after those sebaceous glands. And if you see a drug for hyperhidrosis, that's excessive sweating, you'll know it's working on the sweat glands. It just makes everything click.
Okay, final check-in to tie it all together. A patient hands you a script for an acne medication. Which type of gland is that drug almost certainly targeting? You got it, the sebaceous glands. Perfect. And that's a wrap. Great job today, everyone. That was a really solid look at the skin and its glands. You now have a fantastic foundation for understanding how so many of these common medications really work. So what are your next steps? Well, first, definitely review your notes. If anything felt a little fuzzy, just rewatch this part. And you know the drill. Keep practicing those drug names every single day. Repetition is key.
And you'll want to join us for our next session, because we're going to build directly on this. We'll be covering common skin disorders like acne, psoriasis, and eczema, and we'll dive into the specific meds used to treat them. It's going to be super helpful.
Hey, if this helped you out, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe even share it with a friend. We're here to make learning this stuff easier so you can crush that exam. Keep learning, and remember, you've totally got this.